The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly in every direction, filled with the cold glow of distant stars. The alien fleet hovered silently near the edge of a small blue planet that seemed almost insignificant in size. Commander Varkin stared at the planet through the bridge's transparent hull, his multiple eyes narrowing. In disbelief at the sight of one tiny ship moving purposefully toward the alien fleet. "It is just one vessel," he said, his voice resonating through the bridge, a single, fragile ship from an insignificant species. "We have nothing to fear." Around him, the alien officers whispered in agreement, their voices a mix of amusement and contempt. They had seen countless civilizations, weak worlds that fell before their might. This human planet seemed no different. It had no massive fleets, no weapons visible from orbit. To them, humanity was simple, weak, and naive. The human ship, sleek and modest in appearance, moved steadily through the void, its small engines glowing faintly against the darkness. On board, Captain Alina Drake stood at the command console, her hands lightly touching the controls as she scanned the alien fleet. Her crew worked in quiet precision, eyes fixed on their instruments, every movement synchronized. "They are watching us," she said calmly, almost in a whisper. "Do not show fear. We move as we planned." The humans were vastly outnumbered, but their technology was hidden, advanced beyond the aliens' primitive sensors. Their warship was more than it seemed, equipped with weapons, stealth systems, and AI protocols that the aliens could not yet understand. Every step they took was deliberate, each maneuver designed to confuse and mislead the aliens. The silence of space was broken only by the faint hum of the engines and the soft, steady voice of the AI guiding them. On the alien bridge, tension began to creep into the officers' minds. They had expected to see a primitive, easy target. Instead, the human ship vanished from their sensors without warning. Reappearing moments later behind one of their scout ships, a wave of panic rippled through the alien crew. "Impossible!" Commander Varkin growled. "How did it move so quickly? It cannot be." The alien technology was designed for precision and speed, yet it had been outmaneuvered by a single human vessel. Whispers of concern turned into open fear, but the commander's pride refused to let him admit their mistake. "It is a trick," he said, though his voice lacked conviction. "They are just one ship. One ship cannot threaten the fleet. Prepare to intercept." As the alien vessels moved to engage, the human ship shifted again, this time using the planet's orbit as cover. The humans understood gravity and momentum in ways the aliens did not anticipate. They slipped through asteroid fields, using them as shields, and disappeared into the dark shadows of space. The alien fleet, in contrast, moved like a massive, clumsy animal, slow to react, overconfident in its numbers. Captain Drake watched their movements with cold calculation. She did not need to speak. Her crew trusted her completely. Each human on board knew their role. Every strategy they had prepared was in motion. The aliens thought they were hunting, but in reality, they were being studied, tested, and manipulated. Every scan, every attack vector, the aliens calculated, only served to reveal their weaknesses. Suddenly, the human ship's sensors detected a massive concentration of alien energy signatures converging on their position. "They are committing to a full strike," the AI said, its voice steady, devoid of emotion. Captain Drake's eyes narrowed. "Let them come. They will learn what we are capable of, and it will be the last lesson they ever receive." The crew tensed, ready for what seemed like inevitable destruction. The aliens, confident and cruel, prepared to fire, their weapons charging with deadly energy. They had no idea that the humans were not just ready, they were already several steps ahead. Hidden systems activated silently, cloaking the ship and redirecting energy in ways that defied alien physics. When the aliens unleashed their attack, the human ship was nowhere to be found, leaving the enemy fire to strike empty space. Confusion erupted across the alien fleet. Sensors failed, commands overlapped, fear took root. The blue planet glimmered silently below, unaware of the unfolding drama above. The human small ship moved with precision, executing maneuvers that no alien mind had predicted. "Captain," Drake observed the panic with a measured calm. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "They've underestimated us, and that is their greatest mistake." The alien fleet reeled, unable to comprehend the sudden disappearance and reappearance of the human vessel. Reports flooded the bridge. "It is gone. It has reappeared. Impossible." Commander Varkin's pride faltered for the first time, replaced by a gnawing dread, and he realized that humanity was not weak. They had not brought weapons the aliens could detect, but the humans' power was hidden, cunning, and deadly. As the first part of the encounter closed, the silence of space returned briefly, as if holding its breath. The human ship hovered at a distance, unseen and unchallenged, observing the alien fleet's confusion. Captain Drake allowed herself a small nod. Her plan was working perfectly. The aliens had believed in their superiority, in their strength, in their right to dominate. But humans were proving that even a single ship, with clever tactics and hidden power, could turn the tables. For the aliens, the lesson was terrifying. Size and numbers were meaningless against skill, strategy, and the unpredictable brilliance of humanity. In that quiet moment, far above a tiny blue world, the galaxy began to realize that humans were not to be underestimated, and the war had only just begun. The vast emptiness of space suddenly felt smaller, crowded with the looming presence of the alien fleet. Hundreds of massive ships glinted in the faint light of distant stars, their sharp metallic edges cutting through the darkness. Commander Varkin paced across the bridge, his multiple eyes scanning the view screens with growing unease. The human ship, so small and seemingly fragile, floated ahead, calm and confident. The aliens had expected panic, confusion, or surrender. Instead, they faced a single vessel moving with precision, its course deliberate and unshakable. "Is only one," Varkin said, forcing himself to speak firmly, though a chill ran through his mind. "It cannot defeat us. We are many. It is one. Prepare for interception." Around him, the alien officers moved quickly, activating weapons, shields, and scanners, eager to crush what they assumed was a primitive threat. But deep down, a shadow of doubt had begun to creep into their minds. Nothing about this encounter was normal. Humans were not acting like the weak, simple species they had assumed. On the human ship, Captain Alina Drake remained calm, her fingers lightly brushing the control panel as the AI fed her data in real time. "They are moving faster than expected," the AI reported, its voice neutral but precise. "All sensors indicate maximum power being deployed." Drake's eyes narrowed. Good. Let them think they are in control. We need them to reveal their full strength." The crew worked in quiet synchrony, each member understanding their role instinctively. There was no fear, only focus. Despite being vastly outnumbered, the humans had a plan that relied not on brute force, but on clever strategy, deception, and the unpredictable tactics that the aliens could not comprehend. Every maneuver they executed drew the enemy closer, luring them into traps carefully hidden among the stars. The humans had studied the alien fleet for weeks, learning their routines, their technology, and their arrogance. Now every prediction was being put to the test. As the first wave of alien ships advanced, the humans activated a cloaking system that warped their presence in space. The alien sensors scrambled in confusion. Weapons fired, lasers slicing through empty void, striking nothing. The humans reappeared, in positions the aliens had not expected, their movements calculated with perfect timing. Commander Varkon's face darkened. Impossible. They are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. His officers panicked, shouting overlapping commands as their weapons missed again and again. The human ship, small but deadly, seemed to dance among them, turning fear into chaos. Every alien move was anticipated, countered, and turned back against them. It was not sheer power, but intelligence, precision, and creativity that was changing the course of the encounter. Suddenly, one of the alien cruisers attempted a flanking maneuver, hoping to catch the human vessel off guard. The humans anticipated this. Hidden turrets activated, firing electromagnetic pulses that disabled the cruiser's engines. The ship drifted helplessly, sparks flying from broken circuits as it tumbled through space. Shock spread across the alien fleet. This was not a primitive species. These humans were not only warriors, they were strategists, thinkers, and innovators, all in one. Commander Varkin's pride twisted into anger. He ordered the fleet to regroup, to focus fire on the human vessel, confident that sheer numbers would prevail. But confidence was gone. Fear had begun to replace it. The humans were not predictable. Every calculation the aliens made only seemed to help the humans. As if they could see the fleet's thoughts before anyone spoke them, Captain Drake observed the chaos with quiet satisfaction. "They believe numbers win wars," she said softly. "Let them learn what true strategy means." The crew executed a bold maneuver using a nearby asteroid field as cover. The alien fleet followed, expecting an easy ambush. Instead, the humans used the gravitational pull of the asteroids to slingshot behind the aliens, striking them from an angle they had never considered. Ships were disabled, shields overloaded, and panic spread like wildfire. In moments, the aliens realized that their confidence had been a fatal mistake. The humans were clever, fast, and prepared for every scenario. Even the most experienced officers could not predict their moves. The battle, which should have been brief and one-sided, turned into a nightmare for the alien commanders. Amid the chaos, Varkin realized that his fleet's advantage was slipping. "Concentrate fire," he shouted. But it was too late. The humans had adapted, anticipating attacks before they happened. Every alien strike was countered or redirected, every trap dismantled before it could close. The human ship was not just surviving, it was dominating. And yet Captain Drake did not show aggression beyond what was necessary. Her goal was not to destroy recklessly, but to demonstrate power, precision, and intelligence. The aliens, with all their might, could not match it. The human small ship, alone against a massive fleet, had become the impossible force that shattered expectations, creating fear where there had once been arrogance. The galaxy, which had assumed humans were weak, began to see them differently. This was not a species to be underestimated. And the first encounter, intended to be a simple test, had turned into a lesson that would echo across the stars. Humanity was clever, unpredictable, and deadly when provoked. As the alien ships retreated to regroup, damaged and confused, the human vessel hovered in silent triumph. Captain Drake allowed herself a brief, quiet smile. They had survived, but this was only the beginning. The humans had proven that strategy, intelligence, and courage could defy sheer numbers. The galaxy had been warned, and the aliens would never again underestimate. The tiny blue planet that held a species capable of outthinking the strongest fleet in the stars. The first encounter had ended, but the war for respect, survival, and dominance had just begun, leaving both humans and aliens forever changed. The human warship moved with a grace that belied its small size, weaving through the stars as if space itself bent to their will. The alien fleet, once confident and unstoppable, now faltered in confusion. Commander Varkin's eyes glowed with fury as he tried to anticipate the humans' next move, but every prediction failed. Every formation they attempted to impose was shattered before it could take shape. The humans were not only surviving, they were dictating the pace of the battle. Captain Alina Drake stood at the command console.com and focused, her eyes scanning a holographic display of the alien fleet. "They are panicking," she said quietly, almost to herself. "Let them. That fear will make them predictable. Focus on their patterns, not their strength." Around her, the crew moved with seamless coordination, each action precise, each command executed without hesitation. Despite being outnumbered 10-1, the humans had created chaos within the alien ranks. They did so without firing a single massive weapon yet. Strategy, intelligence, and timing were their greatest weapons. Varkin's fleet attempted to regroup, forming a tighter formation in hopes of overwhelming the human ship with sheer numbers, but the humans anticipated this. Using the gravitational pull of nearby planets and asteroids, Captain Drake performed maneuvers that no alien commander had ever imagined. The warship slipped between enemy vessels like water flowing through cracks in stone, striking isolated ships with pinpoint accuracy, and then disappearing into shadows before retaliation could be organized. Alien sensors could not keep up, their data flooding with false readings. The humans' use of space itself as a weapon was astonishing. Each move was calculated, every action designed to force the aliens into mistakes. Now struggled with hesitation, their superior numbers failing to provide any advantage against tactics they could not predict. Varkan's frustration turned into anger, his pride wounded by the audacity of a species he had thought inferior. The humans did not attack recklessly. Captain Drake's strategy was to force the aliens into revealing their weaknesses. She allowed smaller ships to close in, feigning vulnerability, then activated hidden drones that disabled engines, jammed communications, and created confusion among the alien ranks. Each ambush was precise, surgical, and terrifying in its effectiveness. Alien ships collided or drifted helplessly as systems failed, the fleet's cohesion dissolving. The officers on Varkan's bridge shouted commands that were ignored by malfunctioning ships, their orders drowned in chaos. Every attempt to regain control only highlighted the humans' mastery of tactics and planning. It became clear that the humans were not simply soldiers, they were thinkers, planners, and masters of psychological warfare. Fear replaced arrogance in the alien minds, a fear that grew with every failed maneuver, every destroyed drone, and every inexplicable human. Tactic as the humans navigated the battlefield. Captain Drake communicated calmly with her crew. Predict, adapt, strike. Always be ahead of them, not with them. Control the fight before they think they can control it. The crew executed with perfect timing. Alien vessels that had hoped to flank or encircle were redirected, trapped by clever use of asteroid fields, gravitational currents, and the humans' ability to anticipate the aliens' own calculations. Varkan's officers began to doubt their leader. Whispers of rebellion and fear spreading as the humans' brilliance became undeniable. The alien commander realized that sheer power and numbers meant nothing without the intelligence to wield them. Humanity, so small in appearance, had turned the battlefield into a canvas, painting a picture of skill, patience, and genius that no alien mind had seen before. Panic and disbelief swept through the fleet like a virus. Then, in a bold display, Captain Drake activated the warship's hidden cloaking system and silently approached the alien command vessel. The aliens had no idea she was coming until she was almost upon them. In a move that combined stealth strategy and psychological impact, the humans disabled critical systems of the command ship, leaving it drifting and vulnerable. Shock rippled through the alien ranks. The very heart of their fleet was crippled by a single human vessel. Varkan's voice trembled with rage and fear as he tried to rally his officers. Concentrate fire. Do not let them escape. But it was too late. The humans had already vanished from their sensors, leaving the fleet in confusion and disarray. The aliens realized that the humans were not only skilled, but also unpredictable. Every action, every decision, every movement was calculated yet impossible to predict, creating terror and awe simultaneously. Above the tiny blue planet, the human ship glided silently through the void, the stars reflecting on its sleek hull. Captain Drake allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction. "This is only the beginning," she murmured. "They will learn, or they will fall." The crew shared a quiet sense of triumph, but none celebrated. They knew the battle was far from over. Humanity had proven that cleverness and intelligence could turn the odds in their favor, that a small ship with a brilliant crew could defeat a massive fleet. The galaxy, which had assumed humans were weak, was beginning to see them differently. Fear, respect, and astonishment were spreading across the alien minds. And far beyond the battlefield, in the dark silence of space, the first true warning was sent. Humanity was not only capable of surviving, they were capable of dominating, outthinking and outmaneuvering any force that underestimated them. The stars seemed to hold their breath as the human warship glided through the battlefield, calm and precise, while the alien fleet scrambled in panic. Commander Varkan's confidence had been shattered. His fleet, once proud and unstoppable, now lurched in chaos, every ship struggling to follow commands that seemed futile against the humans' unpredictable brilliance. Captain Elena Drake watched the alien movements carefully, analyzing patterns, anticipating reactions, and plotting strikes that the aliens could never foresee. "They think numbers win battles," she said softly, her voice barely audible over the hum of the ship. "They will learn the hard way that strategy, precision, and technology matter more than sheer force." Around her, the crew worked seamlessly, deploying systems that the aliens could neither detect nor counter. Every drone, every hidden turret, every electromagnetic pulse had been placed with meticulous care, ready to strike when the time was perfect. And that time had come. As the aliens focused all their power on the human vessel, expecting to crush it quickly, the humans unleashed the first wave of their hidden arsenal. Cloaked drones erupted from the warship, silent and invisible targeting engines, communication systems, and weapons arrays of the alien ships. Lasers that could cut through the thickest armor fired in precise bursts, disabling multiple vessels. At once, the fleet's formation broke apart like a shattered crystal, ships drifting helplessly in space. Commander Varkin bellowed orders, but the voice of command had no power against the humans' cunning. The warship moved like a phantom, striking in one location and vanishing in another, leaving the aliens in a growing spiral of fear and confusion. Systems failed, shields collapsed, and the once proud fleet struggled to even regroup, as if the very laws of space had turned against them. "Captain?" Drake's eyes gleamed with quiet satisfaction as she directed the next strike. Using gravitational currents from nearby planets and debris fields, the human ship performed maneuvers that no alien mind could predict. One by one, alien ships fell into traps, their engines fried, weapons jammed, and communication networks overloaded. The battlefield turned into a nightmare for the alien fleet. "They are thinking 10 steps ahead," Varkin muttered, horror creeping into his voice. "It cannot be. How can one ship do this?" His officers looked at him with fear, realizing their commander's pride had led them into disaster. The humans were not only surviving, they were dominating, reshaping the fight with a calm brilliance that terrified and awed the aliens simultaneously. Then came the decisive moment. Captain Drake activated the warship's ultimate weapon, a carefully concealed system designed not for mass destruction, but to neutralize the enemy fleet's command structure. Waves of energy surged through space, striking alien vessels with pinpoint accuracy. The flagship of the alien fleet shuddered violently as critical systems were disabled, leaving it drifting helplessly. Panic rippled through the remaining ships, their crews frozen in disbelief. The humans had turned the battlefield into a chessboard, each move perfectly calculated, each strike devastating, without ever revealing the full extent of their technology. The aliens had assumed they were superior in every way, yet they had never faced an opponent capable of predicting, countering, outmaneuvering their every action. Amid the chaos, the human crew maintained perfect composure. Captain Drake's calm voice guided them through each step. "Focus. Target weaknesses. Never hesitate. Let them fear. Let them make mistakes. And we will control the outcome." Drones darted in and out like sparks, disabling weapons and shields, while the warship itself remained untouchable, a phantom of light and steel, moving with unmatched precision. Each alien ship that attempted retaliation found itself disabled, trapped, or destroyed before it could fire. The once feared alien fleet, proud and arrogant, had become a collection of terrified, malfunctioning vessels, unable to comprehend the human mastery that had undone them. Varkan's mind raced in disbelief, struggling to accept the truth. One ship, a small blue human vessel, had defeated his fleet with strategy, technology, and cleverness, not brute force. Finally, the battlefield fell into a tense silence, punctuated only by the drifting wrecks of alien ships and the hum of the human warship. Captain Drake allowed herself a moment of quiet triumph. "This was a warning," she said softly, her eyes scanning the stars for any sign of new threats. "Let them understand that humanity is not weak. We fight smart, we fight precise, and we never underestimate our enemies. Neither should they. The aliens, shaken to their core, began to retreat, their pride replaced by fear and awe. Across the galaxy, whispers would spread of the blue planet and the tiny human ship that had shattered expectations, defeated a fleet, and sent a shockwave of power that no one would ever forget. The humans had revealed only a fraction of their strength, yet it was enough to change the perception of their species forever. In the silence that followed, the human ship floated above the tiny blue planet, untouched, undefeated, and silent. Captain Drake knew this was only the beginning. They had proven that even a small force, guided by intelligence, strategy, and innovation, could dominate the strongest enemy. The galaxy had been warned. The aliens had learned that appearances could be deceiving, numbers could be meaningless, and that the humans of this tiny planet were a force unlike any other. The shockwave of power they had sent rippled not just through space, but through the minds of all who witnessed it. Leaving one undeniable truth in its wake: humanity was clever, unstoppable, and more dangerous than anyone had ever imagined. The alien fleet, battered and confused, struggled to regain its former dominance. Commander Varkin's pride had been shattered by the humans' cunning and precision. Its massive ships, once symbols of power, now drifted helplessly as their engines sputtered and their weapons malfunctioned. Panic had replaced confidence, and chaos reigned among the ranks. Captain Alina Drake observed their desperation calmly from her warship, every movement deliberate and measured. "They are losing control," she said softly, her eyes scanning the holographic battlefield. "Do not rush. Patience will finish them." Her crew, trained for moments like this, moved seamlessly, activating hidden drones, cloaking systems, and precision weaponry. Every strike they executed was surgical, carefully calculated to dismantle the alien fleet without exposing themselves to unnecessary risk. The humans were not just fighting, they were orchestrating a symphony of strategy, turning confusion into a weapon stronger than any laser or missile. Varkan attempted one last coordinated assault, gathering the remaining ships to surround the human warship and crush it with sheer numbers. But Captain Drake had anticipated this move. Using gravitational currents, asteroid fields, and the shadows of distant planets, she maneuvered the human vessel into a position the aliens had never imagined. Cloaked drones slipped silently past the front lines, disabling shields and engines of key ships. Alien communications broke down under a barrage of electromagnetic pulses, leaving commanders unable to coordinate. One by one, the remaining vessels faltered, their weapons firing blindly into the void, striking nothing. Frustration reached its peak as he realized his fleet's advantage had been nullified. The humans had predicted his every move, outsmarted his tactics, transformed what should have been an overwhelming assault into a catastrophic failure for the aliens. The battle reached a critical point when the human warship targeted the alien command ship. Captain Drake's crew executed a daring sequence of maneuvers, striking from multiple angles simultaneously. Shields were pierced, engines disabled, and critical systems overloaded. The command ship, the heart of the alien fleet, drifted helplessly, a silent monument to the humans' ingenuity. Panic spread instantly among the remaining ships. Without their leader, the fleet lost cohesion. Orders were shouted but ignored as fear and confusion paralyzed officers. What had once been an unstoppable armada was now a scattered, vulnerable collection of vessels, each struggling to survive against a single, clever opponent. Humanity, small and underestimated, had flipped the battlefield completely, proving that strategy and intelligence outweighed raw power and numbers. Captain Drake maintained her calm focus as she watched the aliens falter. "They are predictable when desperate," she said softly. "Every move they make is a mistake. Exploit it." Her crew, following her lead, struck again and again, targeting isolated ships with precision attacks. Hidden weapons tore through. Armor-cloaked drones disabled critical systems, made every attack further dismantled the alien fleet's remaining strength. The aliens, once confident and arrogant, now faced a terrifying reality. The humans were not just surviving, they were controlling the outcome of the battle. Varkin's pride, crushed by repeated failures, could only watch helplessly as his fleet crumbled around him. every plan undone by the humans' brilliance and foresight. As the tide of battle turned completely, remaining alien ships began to retreat, their commanders realizing that continued engagement would lead to total destruction. Captain Drake allowed them a brief, controlled withdrawal, knowing the humans had won not only the fight, but the message. Humanity could not be underestimated. The warship floated silently among the drifting wrecks of alien vessels, calm and unscathed. The crew exchanged quiet nods of satisfaction, but none relaxed fully. They knew the battle was won, yet the galaxy was still watching, still waiting to see what humanity would do next. The lesson had been delivered. Clever strategy, patience, and intelligence could overcome overwhelming force. The humans had proven it beyond any doubt. Above the tiny blue planet, the human vessel drifted like a silent guardian, victorious. Yet composed, Captain Drake looked at the scattered alien fleet retreating into the depths of space. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "They will rebuild, and they will underestimate us again. We will be ready." Her voice carried the weight of calm confidence, the assurance of a species that had learned to survive, adapt, and dominate against impossible odds. The galaxy had witnessed a turning tide, a demonstration that one clever ship, guided by the minds and courage of humans, could reshape the course of a war. The aliens would carry the memory of this encounter forever, a constant reminder that appearances could be deceiving and that the humans of this small blue planet were not only survivors, they were masters of the battlefield, and their rise had only just begun. The remnants of the alien fleet limped away into the darkness of space, battered, confused, and humiliated. Commander Varkon's pride had been crushed beyond repair, his fleet reduced to a scattered shadow of its former power. "Captain Alina." Drake's warship hovered silently above the tiny blue planet, its hull reflecting the pale light of distant stars. The crew moved quietly, checking systems, repairing minor damage, and ensuring the ship remained ready for any unforeseen threat. There was no celebration, no boasting. The humans understood the gravity of their actions. They had shown the galaxy the extent of their strength. But they also understood that the war was far from over. Intelligence, precision, and strategy had turned the tide, but vigilance would always be necessary. Humanity's message had been sent. Underestimate them, and you would pay the price. Commander Varkan, his pride shattered, struggled to comprehend what had just happened. One small human vessel, outnumbered and seemingly insignificant, had dismantled his mighty fleet with brilliance, foresight, and technology he could barely understand. The aliens had relied on size, numbers, and raw power, yet all of it had been rendered useless against the humans' cunning. Everywhere they looked, alien officers whispered in disbelief. It was only one ship. How could it destroy so much? The thought haunted them. Fear and respect mingled in equal measure, spreading across the fleet. The humans had proven that survival was not enough. True power lay in intelligence, creativity, and the courage to face overwhelming odds without hesitation. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. On the human warship, Captain Drake looked toward the stars, her expression calm yet resolute. "They will tell their people about this," she said softly, almost as if speaking to the universe itself. "They will spread the story of the humans who turned the impossible into reality. They will know that we are not to be underestimated." Her crew nodded quietly, understanding the weight of her words. Humanity had done more than survive. An encounter they had made an impression that would echo across civilizations, changing the way every species would perceive them. The humans of this tiny blue planet had proven that size, appearances, and assumptions meant nothing against courage, intelligence, and strategy. The aliens would retreat, but their minds would carry the memory of fear and awe across the galaxy. Whispers began to spread from one star system to another, stories of the human vessel that had destroyed a fleet far larger and more powerful. Entire civilizations began to rethink the threat humans posed. They had assumed weakness, and in that mistake, they had witnessed the rise of a force that could challenge the strongest, the most arrogant, and the most confident. The humans had fought not for conquest, but for survival and respect. Doing so, they had carved their name into the stars, leaving an indelible mark on the galaxy's consciousness. Captain Drake allowed herself a brief sigh of satisfaction, knowing this was only the beginning of humanity's presence among the stars. The ship glided silently above the planet, untouched, undefeated, and a symbol of cunning, intelligence, and courage. The galaxy had received its warning. Humans were not weak, they were not simple, and they were not to be taken lightly. Star System would now regard the blue planet with caution, respect, and curiosity. And while the aliens would rebuild and reconsider, they would never again look at humanity as insignificant. The humans had demonstrated a truth that would resonate through the cosmos, that the clever, the brave, and the prepared could triumph over the strongest armies, and that a single, determined force from an unassuming planet could reshape the destiny of the galaxy. Humanity's warning was clear, and the universe would remember it forever.